If it makes him feel safe, he can do it.
Because I'm doing something. I'm trying to break the world record for most masks one at a time.
I'm not sure if there is a record for that.
Well, I'm gonna make it then.
All right, quiet, please. All right, homework out. Nathan, homework out. Close your mouth, please. Go get it out.
I only got 14. No, Maddie, give it. You get my best. No.
That's right. You did someone this. All right, let's go. Doesn't require a lot of talking. Devin, turn around, please. Give him his pencil back.
No. He gave it to him.
Give him his pencil back.
It's not his, it's his.
Give him his pencil. Devin.
Can I use it for math?
No, not unless Devin says.
Devin, can I use it for math? You just had 8 in your.
All right, Madison, give him the pencil back.
It's just he only did.
All right, you guys are a bit too talkative for me today. Please stop. All right, any specific math questions on the homework last night? All right, let's go over this real quick. It was 1 through 20 all. 1 through 20 all. Number one, this say write everything as a mixed number, as a proper fraction reduced. Or if not, then as a mixed number. Number one is 1 6/13. Number two is 1 1/3. Number three is 3. Did anybody put 3 over 1? 3 is the right answer. Number 4 is 2. Number 5 is 4 over 11. Number 6 is 37 over 99. Number 7 is 35 over 41. Number 8 is 1 and 1 over 32. Number 9 is 1 and 5 over 12. Number 10 is 1/9. Number 11 is 17 over 36. Number 12 is 1 and 17 over 24. Number 13 is 1 and 1/6. Number 14 is 1 and 16 over 21. Number 15 is 1 and 21 over 50. Number 16 is 5 over 28. Number 17 is 1 and 5 over 33. Number 18 is 19 over 45. Number 19 is 1 and 33 over 40. And number 20 is 4 over 21. And that was it. No. All right, everyone listen up. Listen up means that you need to be quiet while we do this. Hey, I'm going to do another class where some of you, and it might be the majority of you, already know how to do this. Okay, it's the last kind of review, and then we get to more newer stuff. I'm going to warn you. Period 1, not a single person did it the way that some teachers have you show how to abstract mixed numbers. It turns out there's 2 ways to abstract mixed numbers. Generally speaking, I typically see kids that learn the first way. They don't even realize it can be a second way. The issue is that by the end of this year, you're going to learn about negative numbers. And as soon as we learn about negative numbers, it kind of eliminates one of the ways that we should do this. So even though there's multiple ways of what I'm about to show you, I'm only going to show you one way. It's the most useful way, and it allows you to do all operations with fractions rather than just some operations with fractions. I'm not sure that anyone heard anything I just said.
I heard.
Jake. All right. Let's see. You're not first period. You're fourth period. Okay, fourth period. Remember, on not this Monday coming up, but following Monday, you're gonna take your first semester final at periods 7 and 8 science. So I will not see you that day, except for class. We will do a normal review for class. So we will review probably chapters 1 through 3 on this day, and on Monday we'll do 4 through 6, or 4 through 7. Sorry. And then every day you will do 2 finals. If you have all your finals done by Thursday, you don't have to come to school on Friday. We'll see you next year. If you miss a final, you must come to school on Friday and take your finals. Yes.
By next year, do you mean next half of the year?
I mean in 2021.
Wait, it's gonna be 2021 after that?
It is.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm not-
winter
All right.
break. Wait, after the finals is winter break.
Wait, that means that on Friday I can say I'm not doing school this year. I mean,
For the rest of the year, I'm not going to school. You can say that on Thursday
oh, yeah.
if you've taken all your finals. All right. Yes.
How are we supposed to do the semester final for PE?
You talk to her. I don't think she's going to give you one, but I could be wrong.
How do you do push-ups? Go.
All right. Here's your homework. Write it down. Hey, it's 1 through 20 all again. All right.
Wait, it was 1 through 20?
Yesterday.
Wait, I did 2 through 20.
Nathan, stop. Write down your homework. SpongeBob's in Nickelodeon.
Yeah, what the?
You gotta go to Nickelodeon World.
I was never allowed to
I don't know if I told you this, but one of my best friends in high school ended up going to Hollywood, and he was one of the producers of SpongeBob, or director, sorry. He directed a couple SpongeBob episodes, and he was the creator of Phineas and Ferb.
What?
What?
I grew
Dan-
up on that show.
Dan Povenmine.
Dude, that was like my show.
That was a good
Who's
time.
that? You should have talked to that. I can see
I haven't talked to him since high school, but all I know is one day I was, how did I figure this out? Oh, I thought about old friends from high school, and then I just Googled one, and I Googled his name, and it popped up. This is before Phineas Ferb, and it Google. He had always said that he wanted to be a director.
Wow, well,
And
he
then
was
when we all went to, I went to the Army, but he went to college. He went to college in California to become a director. And you're like, yeah, whatever, he'll be a director. And it turned out it worked out for him.
we should talk to you. Like, hey, remember me? I was your high school.
Well, my dad went to
You're gonna find out that you're gonna. I thought he was somewhat talented. I didn't think that he was. He was very different in some ways, but no, he was a nice guy. Got a lot of stories about. Yeah.
My dad actually, he was college. What do they call like where you kind of like your brother? What do they call something brother in college? I'm not sure.
You're talking about fraternities?
Fraternity brother. All right. My dad was Tim McGraw's fraternity brother. And my dad's dad told him he needs to start playing more music because his voice was good.
Yeah.
And then he told him to start a band. So he's like, I'm going to.
That's nice. Yeah. I mean, you go through life. Just by going to school every year, you're around hundreds, if not thousands, of people, right? And the chances of one of them becoming famous is pretty high. You know? Not guaranteed, but throughout your life, you'll probably know one or two. He's actually the only. I also went to high school with a guy that almost became a Supreme Court justice.
What?
He was one of the names that was going to be, President Bush was going to, the last Bush. He was going to, when he was choosing Supreme Court justices, his name was one of the last one, or one of the ones like between these three people that were going to get picked. He didn't get picked. He's probably the only other famous person I know.
Like somebody in one of our lives is gonna be famous.
Yeah, who knows? Richard might become famous for
Being Richard.
Who knows? And they're like, I went to school with Richard.
Yeah. I don't know. What's his number?
All right, we got to do some work. I got you off topic here. All right, so I started this off by saying I didn't think anyone was paying attention. I'm going to say it one more time. Listen, please. We're going to do adding, subtracting, mixed numbers. Now, many of you already know how to do this. That's fine. There's two techniques. Usually in 4th or 5th grade, they don't know this other technique because it's more complicated. The reason I'm going to teach you the quote, quote, complicated way, I usually get 1 or 2 students like, that's crazy, I'm going to do it the other way. The issue with the other way is it only works for this year. As soon as we get into negative numbers, and we have negative fractions, it doesn't work. Your method also doesn't work for multiplication or division. So what I choose, and most math teachers choose, is technique number 2, which is slightly more challenging for today's operations. And so I occasionally get some students like, that's the complicated way. Okay, well, your method requires you to remember how to borrow with mixed numbers. And it also doesn't work when we get to negative fractions. So you have to use this other technique. It also doesn't work with multiplication or division. So you have to use this technique. The technique I'm going to show you is not that much more complicated. And the nice thing about it is you just got to remember one rule. That's it. And it works for add, subtract, multiply, and divide. If you want to use this other, quote, quote, easier method, it only works for addition and subtraction where the first fraction is bigger than the second fraction. That doesn't work that way when we get to negative fractions. So then you have to know that, oh, why there's this other way. So I and most math teachers don't choose to teach you the 4th or 5th grade method of adding, subtracting mixed numbers. Okay? All right, so last class we talked about adding fractions where the pieces of the pie were not the same size. So that's 3/7 plus 1/3. I said it's called a pizza pie.
Oh.
Yes? You didn't know that? It's called a pizza pie.
Wow.
So 3/7 plus 1/3. We have a problem there. You can't add when the pieces are different sizes. So we use this process called common denominators. We make them all the same size. That process that you did last night for homework, which is you look at just the denominators, you find a common denominator, you find at least common multiple. Turns out 7 and 23, that would be 21. You do a little bit of math magic by equivalent fraction speak. You turn both fractions into something over 21. The scratch work is here. 3 times 7 is 21, so we're going to multiply top and bottom times 3. We get 921, and for the second fraction, 7 times 3 is 21. So 7 times 1 is 7. We take these two fractions and we add them together. Okay, now we add those together. We get 16 over 21. You do have to reduce the fraction. This one's already fully reduced. Most people don't like fractions. Why? Because look at all the math that's involved in just getting this one simple answer. 3/7 plus 1/3 requires all of this work. That's why I understand why people don't like fractions. But I do want to point out there's no hard math here at all. We're multiplying by 3. We're counting by 7s. We're adding 9 and 7. The actual steps aren't that complicated. There's a lot of them. That's why I think most people don't like fractions. All right, so today's class, we're not going to be adding proper fractions. We're going to be adding mixed numbers. Okay? All right, the basic idea is this. This represents 4 pizzas and 3/7 of a fifth pizza. So this would be 4 and 3/7 plus 2 and 1/3. So there's your visual analogy of how you add fractions. Okay. The technique that they typically teach in 4th and 5th grade are this. Well, if you got whole pizzas, we can add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get 6 whole pizzas, right? 6 whole pizzas is called method 1. And then we add 3/7 and 1/3 separately and attach it to the 6. I get plenty of students that come through mine like, this is way easier than your method. It does work. And it works because none of these are negative. Eventually next year they'll be negative. And I don't wait to 8th grade to teach you the other technique. I teach it to you in 7th grade. And the reason why I show this is because this is also how you multiply and how you divide, right? This technique. So I'm going to teach you one technique that works for adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Yes, for today, it's going to seem silly and ridiculous. Okay? The problems with method number one is when you subtract, occasionally you have to do this thing called borrowing, right? And that technique of borrowing is usually lost to many students. They don't understand it. So I'm going to show you a technique you don't need to borrow. There's also extra rules for when you have improper fractions. So not only do you have to have an extra rule for borrowing, you have to have an extra rule if you're dealing with improper fractions. It doesn't work at all when we have negative numbers. It doesn't work when we multiply or divide. You can't do it with mixed numbers. You're not allowed to multiply or divide with mixed numbers. Okay? So you get lots more rules. I say the heck with all that. I don't want to give you 20 different rules for add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Oh, it's this particular case, I got to use this rule. Oh, it's this particular case, I got to use this rule. How about I give you one rule that works for add, subtract, multiply, and divide? That's why most math teachers only teach this. So it's method number two, that neither one of these methods has a name. And the method is we just turn them all into improper fractions. If you got a mixed number, you always turn it into an improper fraction. That's it. And then you just do the math. Yes. And that's what period one said too. I think what's happening is that you're getting more teachers come on board. They're like, well, yeah, I don't want to teach them all these techniques. Just always, if you got a mixed number, turn it into an improper fraction. There's no new rules. Whether it's a positive or a negative fraction, whether you're add, subtract, multiply, divide, there's no new rules. You just turn it into an improper fraction and you do the math. Okay? It works for negative fractions and it works for multiplication division. Yeah. Probably none of them is healthy, right? All right. Merry Christmas. I wrote the rules for you on your paper in box number 1. Okay? The rules or the steps are this. If you got a mixed number, you turn it into an improper fraction. If you need to get common denominators, you get common denominators. If not, you add or subtract. Then you do the normal, what we did last night for homework, or reduce the fraction. If necessary, you write as a mixed number. Let's see how that works. We'll do an easy one first. We already have common denominators. All right, so here's how this works. We turn everything into a improper fraction. All right, the process is 9 times 1 is plus 4. So we get 13 over 9. Plus, if there's a mistake, a lot of times kids will forget if you were adding or subtracting. So pull down your plus them. 9 times 3 plus 1 all over 9. And then we just simply do what it says. It says add, so we add. 13 and 28. Some kids can do this in their head real quick. Let me show you how they do that. They don't add 13 and 28. They take the biggest number and they add 10 to it. What's 28 and 10?
38.
Plus 3.
40.
That's how they're doing that. The rest of us are like, well, how did they get to 41 so easy? Because they're not really adding the two numbers. They're adding 28 to 10 and then adding 3. Because you can add 10 really quickly to any number.
Yeah, but is this it?
Now we have an improper fraction.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got to turn it into a mixed number. How many times is 9 going to 41? 9, 18, 27, 36. 4 times. So it goes 4 times. And so we said 36. So a little bit of scratch work. So we need to do 41 minus 36. That is 41 minus 36. That is not 7. That would be 41 minus 36.
It's 7, 5.
It's 5.
It's 5. So 5 over 9. Now, for those of you that learned that other technique, this is why I get some pushback. Hey, what's 1 plus 3? What's 4 plus 1? And they're like, oh, that's way easier. Let me do it that way. Yes, for this one, it is easy. But as soon as we do subtraction, we got to do this borrowing thing. We got extra rules. I choose not to teach that. I choose turn it into an improper fraction and then just do add or subtract. But yeah, for those of you who know what's going on, there is an easier way for doing these simple ones. Okay, let's see another one. I got common denominators. Still going to turn into an improper fraction. 9 times 7 or 7 times 9?
3.
Plus 3 all over 7. 7 times 4?
8.
Plus 5 all over 7. So that was easy. 66 minus 33. 33 over 7. All right, gotta count by 7. 7, 14, 21, 28. That's a 4. Let's see, 33 minus 28 is, Jake, 33 minus 28?
Oh, I'm sorry. 33 minus 28 would be.
33.
I'm sorry. I am not writing right now.
Antonio says he's got the answer.
It's 5.
It is 5.
Wow.
Okay. Once again, check it out. For those of you like, I want to use method number 1. Well, you can do 9 minus 4. That is 5. Wait, I got a 4. I didn't get a 5. There's an extra rule here, right? Turns out this is one of those ones you got to borrow. The heck with that rule. It's too complicated. Let's just turn them into improper fractions. Let's do the math. That way you don't need this extra rule of borrowing. Yes?
Where'd you get to 5?
33 minus 28. That's 5. All right, let's do one. Box 2. Here we go. Box 2. We've got mixed numbers. We immediately turn them into an improper fraction. 9 times 3.
27.
Plus 4.
31.
All over 9.
You put 31. Oh, wait. Yeah, no.
A lot of times, if there's a mistake, it's you don't drop down your plus or your minus symbol. 9 times 1 plus 7.
16 over 9.
Okay. Once again, how do the smart kids add this real quick? They do 31 plus 10. 31 plus 10 is
41.
plus 6.
47.
That's how they're doing that. So 47 over 9. Adding is easy to do in your head. It's the subtracting that's a little bit challenging to try to do in your head. So try to do that for scratch work. No, you don't do any of this in your head. 9 goes in 40. Let's count my 9s. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. So it went 5 times. We got to 45. What's 47 minus 45? 2 9s. Am I going too fast? Okay. These are the easy ones where you have common denominators. Once again, check this out. Method number 1, what's 3 plus 1? Not 5. So there must be some, this is the opposite of borrowing, this is the carrying. So method number 1 requires you to remember another rule for carrying. All right, heck with those rules. One rule, turn an improper fraction to the math. I was not taught this until high school, right? I was taught the borrowing and the carrying method. And as soon as they showed me making it an improper fraction, I was like, that's way easier, right? I don't have to remember all these rules for borrowing and carrying. Yeah.
In homework will we have improper fractions?
But you're always going to get an improper fraction with this today's homework that you're going to have to turn into a mixed number.
There's 8
So,
of
like-
them that have the same denominators.
But she said improper fractions. So you're going to get an improper fraction on almost every single one.
So, like, the bottom number will not be the same.
Now you're asking what she's asking, which is what I didn't speak Macy there for a second, but clearly Danny does. So your question is, are we going to have ones with common denominators? The first, Danny? The first 8 and the rest are, we're going to do some of those here in a second. Sorry, I didn't speak Macy there for a second. All right.
Not a lot of people do.
Once again, this box 3. I see mixed numbers, so I immediately turn them into improper fractions. 3 times 5 or 5 times 3 is plus 1 all over 5.
So for this one, we don't have to do the weird borrowing.
You would, because you can't do 4 minus, you got to subtract from 1, you got to subtract 4, so you'd have to do that borrowing thing. I said, the heck with those rules, just turn into an improper fraction. Watch how much easier it is as an improper fraction. 2 times 5 plus 4. Now you're just doing 16 minus 14, right? Like I said, I was in high school, freshman year of high school, and I was like, what? We have to do that borrowing, carrying thing again? I'm like, yeah, just turn them into improper fractions. I was like, wow, I wish I would have been taught that. The one bad thing about this method is that when these mixed numbers are large, boy, are your improper fractions large. If this had been 33 1/5, right, minus 2 4/5, it actually would have been easier using method 1. But it'll still work with turning into improper fractions. You just deal with larger numbers. Oh, well, that's just going to give me 2/5, and I'm done. 16 minus 14. Remember, like I said, if there's a mistake generally, other than a normal math mistake, it's when you drop down and you rewrite the problem, you think you add instead of subtract or vice versa. Who's lost? All right, one more, box 4. 8 times 7 is, I need a multiplication table, or is it 56? Plus 3.
59.
All over 8. 8 times 4?
32.
Plus 7.
39.
All over 8. You want to see how else the smart kids do this? 39 is 1 away from,
40.
what's 40 plus 59?
99.
Subtract 1. That's how they do it. All right, we got to count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 96. I went 12 times. You see what I'm doing here instead? Instead of that large number, it's not requirement. As soon as I see something that can be reduced, I reduce it. You're just dealing with smaller numbers. So instead of saying how many times 8 go into 90, I'm going to reduce first and then turn it into a mixed number. Either way works. But for me, I think reducing the fraction first, that kept me from counting from 88 to 96. Half of 98 is 40. 40. What's half of 100?
50.
This is 2 less. So
48.
49 is the actual answer. So 49 over 4. Now I can do a little bit easier. 4 times 11 is 44, so 4 times 12 is 48. Still goes 12 times with 1 left over. 12 1/4. By the way, this would have worked if I had done it the other way. Not 8 goes into 98 12 times, 96 with 2 left over, so 2/8 and 2/8. Now I got to reduce 2/8 is 1/4. So you still get to 12 1/4. You okay on that? All right, one more, and then we'll do the more challenging ones. 5 times 8 or 8 times 5 is plus 3, all over 8. I'm not going to forget that subtraction. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 is 15.
Yeah.
43 minus 10 is 33, minus another 5 is 20. 20. About 25.
3.
Well, I guess we need
2.
scratch work on this.
1.
43 minus 15.
28.
Got to borrow 1 from the 4. It makes it a 3. That makes that a 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. And that gives me a 2, so 28.
Yeah.
28 over 8. Jake, how many times does 8 go in 28?
It goes into 28. Here, 3 times.
8, 16, 24, 3 times. With how many left over?
4.
So I'm going to reduce mine first, right? Let's see if we get the same answer. He said 8 goes into 28 3 times with 4 left over. He got 3 and 4/8. 3 and 4/8 reduces to 3 1/2. He got the same answer I did. Your choice of where you reduce.
Can we do another example of this?
Another subtraction? Let's see if I have one. I don't think I have one until we get to non-common denominators. All right, are we good on this? All right, let's skip box 6 and let's go on. Or anybody do box 6? What'd you get for an answer?
I did the first.
What'd you get? 5 in? I got 5 1/3.
I got 5 and 3.
All right. Flavor 2 it means no common denominators. It's one extra step. You've got a common denominator. Now, it is a big extra step, but process is still the same. Step number 1, if you got mixed numbers, we're going to turn them into improper fractions first. This is box 6. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. I get 9 over 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19. I get 19 over 8 common denominators. Nathan, common denominator, 4 and 8. John, 4 and 8, common denominator? 15, neither of those numbers go into 15. 8. All right, they both came up with exactly the same thing.
I was looking at the worksheet.
All right. It is box 6, by the way. Yeah, 8. So the only one I got to mess with is the first one, right? So we get a common denominator of 8. Let's see. 2 times 4 is 8, so we multiply top and bottom by 2. That gives me an 18 over 8. I didn't have to do anything with the 19. It was already over 8. Okay? What's 18 plus 10? 18 plus 10 plus another 9? 37. All right, 8 goes to the 37. 8, 16, 24, 32. 4 times. 8 times 4 is 32. 37 minus 32 is?
5.
So 4 with 5/8 left. All right, let's do one. Box 7. Alora, walk us through the whole thing. You tell me what to do. I'll do the math for you. You tell me what to do. Okay, so that would involve me doing what? Tell me what to do. 3 times 2 is 6. That would give me 8. 8 over 3. The second fraction? That's 20. 22 over. All right. That's what she said. Let me catch up to her. Okay. Now what? Let's see. I'm going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. I'm going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. Oh, wait, 15. Right? So I got a common denominator of 15. 5 times 3 is 15, so I need to multiply top and bottom by 3. This will require a little bit of work. 22. You were going to let me do the math.
I already did it.
I know. 22 times 3 is 66, so I get 66 over 15. 3 times 5 is 15, top and bottom by 5. 8 times 5 is 40. Now I subtract. 66 minus 40 is 26. So I get 26 over 15. Turn it into a mixed number. 15, 30. Okay, it only goes one time. 15. 26 minus 15 is 11. So I get 1 and 11 sixteenths. 15. Sorry. Yes.
I'm lost.
Where?
Oh my God, lost after the top part with the 8 and 3.
Okay. Common denominator was 15, yes?
Yeah.
So I got to turn this 5 into a 15. How do you do that?
Times 3.
Top and bottom times 3. 22 times 3 is 66.
Oh.
3 times 5 is 15. Top and bottom times 5. That's where the 40 comes from. Okay? And then simply some subtraction and turn it into a mixed number. All right? Nathan. Am I ever going to have a day when I don't say the word Nathan?
No. Unless he's absent.
What? I'm not calling. I have to call him like twice. The rest of the time, it's for him to stop messing around.
Unless he's absent. Then you're not going to see
All right.
But I feel like he still mentioned him.
Maybe. All right. Maddie, I'm going to do the math. You're going to walk me through it. So we're on box 8. Tell me what to do. Tell me what, in big picture, what we're doing. Okay? Smaller picture now. She says we're adding 2 fractions. I agree. Now, smaller picture. What do we got to do first? By the way, the steps are right here. And they're on your paper. What does it say? That's not what it says. Do we have mixed numbers? So how do we turn them into an improper fraction? Tell me what to do. I'll do the math for you. Okay. So we're on day 3 of doing this. So you need to have it written down somewhere. You take the bottom number. The bottom number is, and I multiply it by the number out front. That's the whole number. 3 times 1 is 3. We add the top number to that result. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. We write it all over that number, 3. 4/3. Same thing. Stay with me. 4 times 5 is 20. This times this is 20. Plus 3 is 23 all over 4. Please come to tutoring so we can practice this. Now what? Step 1 is done. Okay, what's the common denominator? 3 and 4. What's the common denominator? Count by 3s.
3, 6, 9.
Count by 4. Stop when you get to a number that was on that you just said. 4, 8, what?
12.
Was 12 on your first list?
Yeah.
That's the common denominator. Now, to turn this 3 into a 12, well, ignore that 4. We're going to multiply by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Top and bottom times 4. Not because that's a 4, but because we want to turn this 3 into a 12. Top and bottom times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We get 16 over 12. How do you turn a 4 into a 12? You multiply it by 3. Top and bottom times 3. 3 times 23 is 69. All right? Done. I got common denominators. What do we do now? What are we doing? What's 69 plus 10?
79.
Plus 6. Okay. All right. I added. Now what? Read the whole thing. Okay. Fully reduced, right? So I'm going to write it as a mixed number. How do we do that? Hey, I got to see you for tutoring. We got to write this down. It needs to be in front of your face. Okay? Because the steps, I'm sure you can do the steps, but you don't know the steps. 12 goes into 85. I count by 12s. Fingers, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. I need more fingers. 72, 84. How many fingers do I have up? 7 times 12 is 84. So it goes 7 times 84. 85 minus 84 is 1 with 1 left over. It's all over 12. Everybody else good? And Maddie, I will see you for tutoring. All right. Let's do a subtraction 1. Let's see. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. I get 19 over 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5 is 11. I got 11 over 6. Step 1 is done. Hey, Maddie didn't stop me. Clearly she was confused. Is there anyone else out there that's hiding and like, I'm confused? You just didn't call on me. All right? If you're one of those persons, I need to see you for tutoring. The majority of the class, their heads down right now, their books are open, they're doing their homework because they're not confused. But if you are confused, let's get you unconfused. 3 and 6, 3 and 6, 3 and 6. What's the common denominator? 6. So I don't need to do anything with this one. What times 3 is 6? 2 times 19? 2 times 20 is 40. 2 times 19 is?
38.
2 less. So 38. So 6 is that. We're going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So we get 38 over 6. And the other one we didn't need to mess with. What's 38 minus 10?
28.
Minus 1 more.
27.
Do you see how I did that? It's not a class about let's do all the math in our head. But for those of you wondering, how do some kids do this in their head? That's what they're doing. They're not doing 38 minus 11. They're doing 38 minus 10 and then subtracting 1 more. Fingers, 6, 12, 18, 24. 4 fingers up. So 4, right? With 3 left over, 3 6, and 3 6 is a half. Okay? Or notice that 27 and 6 I could divide by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 6 divided by 3 is 2. All right, count by 2. 2, 4, 6. You'll find you get the same number, 4. The only difference is if you reduce first, you don't have to reduce a second time. I'll leave that up to you where you decide to reduce by. Just make sure you reduce. Probably the number 1 question on the last chapter test that you missed, right, is that you did not reduce your mixed number. You got 4 and 3, 6, and you left it as 4 and 3, 6. So change it to 4 and a half. Questions? All right. If you forget to reduce, it's okay. Look at the board, please. Right? You do the whole thing, and you're like, well, I reduce first. Okay, great. But if you forget, I'm going to forget this time. 6 goes into 27. 6, 12, 18, 24. 4 times. 3 left over. If you forget to reduce, this is what was on your test. Lots of you. You left it as that. You can still reduce, right? 3 and 6. 3 goes into both. Still 4 and a half. Yes?
Did you say that was wrong or take off?
That's take off 1 point. So you'll see when I hand out the test after Ava takes her, it'll say the word reduce. You just forgot to reduce. You wrote the answer as 4 and 3, 6 instead of 4 and a half. So if you forget to reduce, you can always reduce at the end. Me, I like to reduce in the middle step here. It just makes the math a little bit easier. I'm not dividing 6 into 27. I'm dividing 2 into 9. A little bit easier. Questions on anything we did? We have 5 minutes left to class. Open up your books. Look over all the problems. If there's something you didn't get, or you're too afraid to ask in front of everyone, ask me the questions now. Don't get to student advisement like, I don't get any of this stuff. And then for those of you that are truly lost, I need to see you for tutoring. Let's not make 2 F's in a row. Yes?
Teachers get mad if you call them best friends.
What now?
Do teachers get mad if you call them best friends?
Get mad? I wouldn't get mad.
When you get bored,
I know that was right.
I wrote down the first 2. I get it's my
Oh no.
You need to write it down.
I should fix
Presenting, I'm gonna actually start saying.
Easy, I got it.
Those are small mistakes.
I got the big
Right. All right, e-learners, any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Cool. I will catch. Is this Eleanor? Yeah. I'll catch you tomorrow, Eleanor.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.